Hello everyone and welcome back to another Space Engineers 2 video. The point of this video is because 3 weeks ago, Keen Software House released this. It's the smelter block, and what this block does is it converts raw materials directly into simple components. Now, when this first released, I thought, this is a horrible idea. Let me explain. Most trading is done in the game using ingots. Firstly, because it's just easier to request, and secondly, for security reasons, in the sense that if someone requests iron, then they could be building absolutely anything. If someone requests a lot of steel plates and grids, then you know immediately that they are building heavy armor, and likely either building a ship or a base. So generally, ingots were always kind of better for trading, and it's a lot more of what you associate. So when I first saw the smelter, I thought, oh gosh, they're replacing the refinery. Now, with the new teaser released in the newsletter on the 18th, we have this. So with this new teaser, we see this brand new block, and this is called the Fabricator. I love the fact it has a little spinning gear thing in the middle, this spinning component. That looks so cool. Obviously, we can see all of how it will fracture. That's very cool as well. But the important thing that I want to get to is this fancy diagram here. We still have the refinery, new refinery here. We still have the smelter, and we still have refined products going into the assembler. But what's interesting is the fact the smelter, okay, it only says simple components, and later on we have complex components. So the way I feel this is done is they've kind of split the survival kit into two different things. So the idea is that when you started off the survival kit, you could produce very basic components, as well as have it be a respawn point. So now it seems the smelter is taking over that simple components role, and the assembler does the complex components. We also seem to have some integration of the Space Engineers 2 version of Prototech with the Fabricator. It seems we either may not have Prototech in Space Engineers 2, or will have some sort of different variation on it with the Fabricator going into high-tech components. So the Gearforge is stated to manufacture character-related personal items. So welders, grinders, drill bits, weapons, and it kind of decentralizes the whole assembler and kind of splits off into different blocks, like Minecraft does. And this is certainly a big thing that I think Space Engineers have needed for a while. All you need to set up a base is a refinery and assembler, and you're done. Like, that's really all you need. And maybe an O2 generator. Now with the fact you need all of these blocks to actually accomplish what you need to build, that's great, because one thing I have seen that's been popular in the modding community is adding in extra blocks to make stuff and making the whole starting process of the game significantly difficult. The thing is, they always tend to overdo it, and you need like 20 blocks to get started, which on one hand for some of them makes sense, but on the other hand it becomes way too tedious and drives players away. One final consideration I will say is that in the original smelter video, it says Space Engineers 2 would actually omit the ingot stage. The fact it now says it goes into refinery products kind of feels like a bit of a reversal. So on one hand, it almost feels like they're trying to go back on it, and also kind of try and meet with a good compromise, because smelters are going to simple components, and yet with the refinery, raw materials go into refinery products, and it doesn't really say what they are going to be. Anyway, what do you think of all these changes? So let me know in the comments below. Thank you all very much for watching, and have a good day. Goodbye!